Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Oh no, I just messed up my perfect camera view. Oh, I just messed it up again. Guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel here. Coming out of the tunnel, looking at our lovely Aegean A319 NEO. Good to see everybody here at the channel. We've got a special one for you guys today. I'm really excited. We normally don't do two legs on the channel, but I'm doing two legs tonight. They're two shorter ones, so about 25 minutes cruising time for the first one, and about the same for the second one when we go into Skiathos. However, we have very strict off and on time requirements in order to meet our on-time performance factor for Aegean Airlines, as well as meet the juicy sunset and I guess past, there's a term for, I guess, twilight in the sim. So our departure time is 1600 Z. That gives us 25 minutes to get this bird off of the ground. Let's go ahead and open up the doors while we're sitting here, since apparently they decided to just all close when I unpaused it there. So I'm just going to open up all these for y'all here. We'll do this. Oh, aft cargo open, please. Thank you. And we'll go ahead and just take a look at this. Look at this beautiful bird right here. So not only are we rocking the NEO version of the 319, Rob DFW, he goes by Rob DFW in the Discord. He has he hasn't been working on that long, but he has graced us with a lovely sound pack collab. So you guys know I love the BSS sound pack, and the only thing that I didn't like about the FT sim pack for the 321 NEO was that you can't incorporate BSS with it. Well, enter Rob and his magic. He has come up with a way to incorporate a NEO sound with the 319 BSS pack. Walkney, welcome to the channel, man. Exclamation point, welcome. Positive rates in chat for Walkney. Thank you so much for joining the channel, man. Welcome on board. Glad to have you here. Excited to get new members off the bat already. So exclamation point sound pack. For what I was saying though, if you want to download this exact sound pack that I'm going to be rocking, in order for it to work though, you have to have the paid version of the BSS CFM sound pack. If you have the BSS CFM, then you can follow the install instructions very closely, and then you can get the BSS pack to work with a 319 NEO version, which I can see I already made a mistake here. Let's go ahead and give us some sharklets. There we go. Boom. That looks better. We've got sharklets on board there. So I'm excited for you guys to hear the sound pack. I think it's exactly what the Toliss bird needed. And of course it's a NEO, so that's pretty cool. Not too many. I don't know if there's any 319. There's only like a couple 319 NEOs that were actually delivered so far. I think there were a couple orders, but I think it looks really good. So I can't get to all you in chat right now, but a couple of shout outs. Swarm, what's going on, man? Welcome to the channel. Tesla Guy, Loadmaster Tip, Slam Canada in the house. Dougal, what's going on, man? Good to have you here. I know you're working on that 11.5. I saw X-Plane 1972 stream with 11.5, and it looked absolutely fantastic. However, I'm just not ready to go down the rabbit hole of setting up my sim again for a beta, so I'm probably just going to wait for the stable version to come out. Krista Hard, welcome to Private Pilot, man. Another member on board. Positive rates in chats. Thank you, Chris. Welcome to the channel, dude. Exclamation point, welcome for your perks. I know you guys were asking about the podcast. I hope you guys are able to find the podcast for all my members. It's just go to my albums and look at the View and After Dark. So we don't have a whole lot of time to sit around here at the gate, so let's jump right into it. And I'm going to be doing a full turnaround state for you guys when we get to Lima Golf Tango Sierra. And we're going to do a full turnaround. So I've kind of got the airplane pseudo cold and dark. We're going to just come right up here. We're going to jump right into our flows. Everything is off right now. We're going to go nav logo to position 2. That's fine. Cruise supply oxygen is on. Ground control on. The ADIRs are already aligned. We've already done our fire test. That looks good there. So flight plan is in the box. Exclamation point route if you want to see the exact flight plan. We're just going to do a quick breeze through, make sure the flight plan is ready to go. No discos in there. We're doing it's kind of like a slight arc to an RNAV 3.4 visual into, I got to figure out how to say this airport. So it's called on the chart, well, let's see. We'll go back to the Thessaloniki, I'm not sure what the proper pronunciation is. I know there's some Greek fans in the stream as well. Macedonia. I'm probably butchering that. So if you have a way of like spelling it out phonetically for me, I'll be able to do that and say it properly. Berto, what's going on, man? $5 bomb. Thank you for supporting the channel, dude. Welcome on board, Berto. All right. So Our flight plan is in the box, no discontinuities. I also want to make sure real quick that our sounds are set still, because I was doing some tweaking. Everything looks good there. Perfect. Sounds are set. Excellent. All right, flight plan is in the box. RadNav page. Nothing to hard tune. We are going to put in another member. Sib. CO 183. Reactivating 183. Welcome back to the channel, man. Private pilot. Welcome to first class. As Dimitri says, I love this cabin on this Aegean. We're going to take a look at that too once we get up to cruise as well. But like I said, we got to get out of here on schedule. We're doing a real world operations. Our wheels up time is at 1600 Z, so 20 minutes from now. LGTS, that's the wrong airport. LGKR, already making mistakes. LGKR in the box there. Flight plan is in the box, nothing to hard tune. Progress page, GPS primary, nav accuracy is high. Our fuel, we got to go ahead and set all that right now. So let's pull out our loading ground service here, aircraft configuration. We're going to take a full load out of here at a Corfu. Actually, we'll take about 132 packs. Rarely put anything in the forward cargo in a 319. So we're going to bring this back. That looks good there. We're going to apply these load settings. 4.4 on the fuel is set. I got to move this window here. There we go. All right, so we'll come to our init B page. Let's finish up the loading here. 30.6 is our zero fuel weight. And then we're going to put in 55.1. Now, I know this ground turn seems a little scattered, but I didn't want to do 2 full ground turns for you. You're going to see a full turnaround procedure when we get to our destination. Geo, was that Berto? I missed your $5 bomb there, man. Berto, appreciate your support to the channel, man. I did not see a message, however, so I hope you weren't trying to get a message across. But welcome on board, Berto. Good to have you here as always. Block fuel 4.4, low fuel 45-ish minutes extra time. What do we got here? Oh, it's going up actually. 48, 50 minutes. Okay, that's about right. So about 50 minutes extra gas just in case we need it. Single runway operations. We're not going to do a Toga out of here. Unfortunately, we're going to do a flex takeoff out of here, but we are going to do a Toga out of our next airport here. So we're going to go 142, 149. Come on now. 149. And then 151. Actually, you know what? This is the first time you guys are hearing the NEO sounds, isn't it, in the 319? Screw it. We're going to do Toga. We're going to back these speeds off a little bit. Let's do 135. I forgot about that. I forgot we're rocking a new NEO+BSS pack. Exclamation point sound mod? What is it? What's the command? Exclamation point sound pack, if you want this exact sound pack.
Ahead. Look up.
All right, 35.49, and we'll just go 150. Flaps 1 Toga out of here. Thank you for the subscription. I don't know what's up with my OBS. I can't see your name when you're subscribing to the channel, but I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Welcome on board. 35.49.50. Flaps 1 Toga out of here. Perf data is set. We're going to do no flex because I want you guys to hear these sounds, so we'll stay true to the motto. We're going straight up, no departure procedure out of here. It's a runway heading, and then we're going to get on the airway, so up to 230. That looks good. APU typically stays off about 10 minutes prior to departure, so we're close enough. Let's go ahead and get the APU fired up, and we've got our fuel on board, so we can go ahead and finish our overhead flows. That is closed. Get the seatbelts on and auto. Arm the spoilers. Emergency exit lights. We'll spool up the APU. Carta says that's some juicy looking NEO engines. I agree, man. Wait till you hear these sounds. Carta, I wonder if you've checked these sounds out yet. This is the BSS integration of the FT-Sim NEO pack. So very similar to the 320, but he's modified the sounds to what I think would be a realistic sounding 319 in the NEO. I love this new Aegean livery as well. I think it looks sharp. I'm ready to go to Greece, guys. I've been looking at YouTube videos of this airline and everything. I'm ready to go.
Subscriber ahead. Look.
Arc Flight, welcome to the channel, man. Thank you for subscribing. I feel like this volume is pretty low. Let's crank it a couple notches. Alright, that looks good there. Flap is open. We're spooling up.
Donation.
Captain Geo coming in with another bomb. $3 bomb. Geo, what's going on, man? You didn't have to do that, man. Thank you so much for your support. He says, well, since you called Geo instead of Berto, might as well. Hope everything is good with you and the fam. Geo, I know. I was hoping you weren't going to catch that mistake, but you guys are sharp. Geo, thank you so much for your support of the channel, man. You don't have to do that. I hope you're doing okay at home there. We're doing fine here where we are. You know, I'm kind of looking at this situation as I get to spend time that I would otherwise not be able to spend with my daughter if I was flying the line full time. So we'll take a listen to this announcement here. Wow, it was a pretty short announcement, but thank you, Gio. I appreciate it, man. I hope you guys are doing all right as well. Tough times for sure. Carl Childers, welcome to the stream, man. Welcome on board. All right, let's go ahead and get the packs on. Listen to this spool up here. Hear those packs start to spin up. I love it. Carl says, you good with these sounds? They're pretty realistic. You know, I've never been on a 319 NEO. I don't think many people have yet. But if I were to speculate, yes, I'm happy with these sounds. It's probably going to be a little bit, you know, it's going to be it's hard to say. You say, well, it might be louder because you're closer to the engines. That's true. But then the NEO engines on the 319 are going to be a little bit more derated than the 320 NEO sounds. So it's hard to speculate what it would really sound like, but I have tried this pack now for a couple flights, and I'm actually really happy with it. I think it's a little less extreme than the 320, but you get that BSS in there as well. Russell coming in with a $5 bomb. Thank you, man. He says, hey, Cap, great to see you on again. Love watching you and Flight Deck to Sim. Shared cockpit soon, bud. Making progress with DCS, even bombing with the A10A. Thank you so much for your support, Russell. That's awesome, mate. Bombing with the A10A, man. I might do a little DCS streaming this week here too. Just coming at you guys. I got a couple of videos I want to show you, but that's awesome, man. I'd love to do a shared cockpit at some point. I really would love to learn more about Boeing and how to properly fly that airplane. So, all right, how are we doing on time? 47. We're gonna get ready to close up some doors here. Packs are on. Everything is on. Let's go ahead and close up our doors. Get the ground crew out of here. We'll run a couple checklists. That's closed. We'll go ahead and drive away.
Donation.
Rand Cool coming in with a $5 bomb for a shot of Gosu. I used to drink it at a Greek restaurant in Deutschland. Thank you, Rand Cool. Appreciate it, man. I'm already I'm enjoying some beverages from our last stream. I got special approval from my German friend to drink hard alcohol before 5 o'clock during quarantine, so I think we're good there. I did bust out the Woodford Reserve tonight. Could I turn the internal volume up, please? Yeah, man, I'm turning it up right now. Hopefully it'll be a little bit louder for you guys now. Doors are closed. We're not going to do a pushback. We'll go ahead and get the beacon on, and then we'll disconnect from the ground power. We'll come down to our transponder, put it in transponder mode, turn you on, and let's run a quick checklist here. Before takeoff, maintenance log and tail number on board and check. Cockpit prep is complete. Gear pins and covers removed. Signs, they are on and auto. ADIRs were in nav mode. Fuel, let's take a look at that real quick. We need 4.1 required, 4.4 on board. Engine mode selector, wrong checklist. Altimeters, 1021 set. EFB is checked. Windows, doors, and slides, they are closed and armed. Beacon is on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is on. Transponder is in auto mode. Before start checklist completed. We're just about ready to get out of here then. Let me just double check. Everything else is good there. Yes, it is. All right, doors are pretty much closed up and ready to go now. You know what I forgot to do, though, is turn on these radios here. All right, so we're closed up. Beacon is on. We can hide these guys. Let's go ahead and crank it up. Close the doors 10 prior. Perfect. Notorious BOFT. What's up, man? Thank you for your support. €250 bomb. He says, have a nice flight, Captain. Stay safe, Notorious. Thank you so much for your support, man. I'm excited for this flight. I hope you guys are too. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really appreciate it, man. Here we go. Let's go ahead and crank engine numero uno. Not bad. Not bad. A little bit more bassy than the original FT Sim sounds. I like it. There comes the high-pitched Neo whine. Very good. All right, we got a good start on engine number 1. Since it's a Neo, when we need 5-minute warm-up, we're going to go ahead and just crank engine 2 while we're sitting here. We're looking good. About 8 minutes prior to departure. Martin Scovey says, hey guys, let's give V1 a thumbs 1. Martin, good idea. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button for me. We're trying to get the channel back on its growing path and the trajectory. A couple of YouTube algorithms shifted around there, kind of hurt the channel a little bit. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button. It's going to be a great evening. Tesla guy, what's up? He says, I've realized something deadpan ironic. You, an American, fly a European aircraft while flight deck to sim is a European and flies an American airplane. That is funny, man. That's funny. And you know what else is funny? He just did across the pond to the U.S., and I just flew over into his territory, so it's kind of funny. We're just crossing paths with each other. Good start on engine number 2. Sounds like we had a good bus transfer there. Go ahead and kill that. Flap sounds are still good. We're doing the flaps 1 takeoff. Now there is announcements. I don't know why it hasn't tripped over. Normally you've got the regular BSS announcements as well. Pull up the 10.9 page there. That looks good. Come up on the overhead. No longer need that. We'll turn that off. Pack flow goes to normal since we no longer have... Oh, you know what? I never turned on the no smoking sign. There we go. That comes on. On and auto. Everything else is off. Nav light is on. And we can disconnect that ground power that's outside there. Alright, 7 minutes prior to departure. After start checklist, engine ice is off, yellow electric pump is off, rudder trim 0, after start checklist complete. Brakes released. Toliss doing its thing here with the taxi out. We're taxiing to 1-6, we're going to flip it around here on the apron. Alpha 1. Love this Aegean livery, man. The white and blue. Very similar to Lufthansa's new one as well, but just classic. I normally don't like white liveries, but I think this looks especially good with the blue engine, the shading around the cockpit. Pretty darn good if you ask me. Paul says you're on to old-fashioned now. Excellent, man. All right, so this is the plan, guys. I've got the flight plan out in front of me. I know you can't really see it, but we need to depart this airport at 1600 Z exactly. Once we do that, our estimated on time is going to be around 1638. It's going to give us 20 minutes to turn this aircraft. So we're going to go through a full turnaround procedure.
Look up.
Kind of, Alex, thank you for the subscription, man. Welcome on board. We're going to do a full turnaround procedure, just as we would, you know, if you're running a few minutes late and you're trying to make an out time. So I don't think I've done one of those yet. It's not too much to, it's not like stuff you don't probably already know, but I don't think I've done one on my channel yet. Oh, got to give some love to the Huey here on the right-hand side. Let's take a look at this. You'll see it here in a minute as we taxi by it. Fire station. I forget who was asking about, is this airport worth it? Oh, that looks like, is that a Venom twin engine, Huey? But this, anything Fly Tampa, I absolutely love. I've loved it in FSX, and I love it in X-Plane as well. So some of them are a little bit more pricey, you know, and Orbix obviously is really good too. Whoa. Too much looking out at the, Huey there. But I still love it. We definitely taxied past the hold short line. That's all right. Here, we'll go ahead and stop it here. Brake set. Let's go ahead and run through our checks here. Flight controls, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudders, full left, full right, neutral, auto brakes, max, takeoff config. Everything else looks good there. We'll put radar PWS into position 1, on and auto.
Subscriber ahead.
TARA. Jacob, thank you for the subscription, man. Welcome on board. Let's go ahead and put the first officers on the flight plan page like it should be. This is the proper format too for multi-crew.
Subscriber ahead.
Thank you for the subscription, man. Appreciate it. If the pilot flying is going to have the perf page up, and the pilot monitoring will have the flight plan page up. So if the first officer was flying, I would put the perf page over here, and then the captain would have the flight plan page. So perf page. Andy, thank you for the subscription, man. Welcome on board, dude. All right, everything else looks good. On departure, we're going to fly runway heading, which is 165. We'll go ahead and spin that in the box. 165, runway heading. Out of here, up to flight level 230. Cabin check. Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff. Don't forget to start the chrono. Dimitri, we won't. We are at 56, 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and line it up. Now, I've had this too. It's not totally unrealistic. I've had ATC, hey, you've got a wheels up time on the hour, so just go ahead and stay in position, be ready to go. So not totally unrealistic what we're doing here either, just kind of waiting for that exact time. Slam Cannon says that was a bourbon hold short. Oh yeah, definitely. Bourbon made me do it, man. Oh, it's a bourbon lineup, too. I've decided that I'm going to just invest in some new rudder pedals here. Oh, did you just look at that, though? I hope you guys are ready for this. We're going full yoga out of here. It's very similar, but it has its differences with the 319 sound that Rob did. All right. Aegean, what are we today? Aegean 588. Fly runway heading. Climb flight level 230. Runway 16. Clear for takeoff. All right, runway heading up to 230. Aegean 588. Spool them up 50. Toga. Mantoga SRS Auto Thrust Blue. $80 knots, thrust set. Stick neutral by 100. V1. Rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Whew. Yes, sir. All right, there we go. We'll go ahead and lower the nose, get a positive trend in airspeed. Love that reduction. Thrust, climb, climb, auto thrust. And Aegean 588, left turn direct Yankee November, November. What?
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Why can't I do it? Thank you for the subscription there, Blake. Here we go. We're navving. Waiting for our S-speed. Oh, one says those engines sound like a 7.3 Max. Very similar. Sam Kenneth says, I'm going to be biased here because I own them, but definitely look into the MFG. Andrew, thank you for the subscription, man. Welcome on board. About those, you know what, Sam? Many months ago, I actually had them in my cart to buy, and then I ended up just canceling the order. It's like, I'm not going to do it. Flap 0, after takeoff checklist. Bye-bye, Corfu. You've been fun. Beautiful fly Tampa Corfu there. Just look at that scenery. Stunning. But yeah, Slam Cannon, I'm really looking into them. Although I don't know if I'll be able to get them shipped to the States now. They don't come from China though, so maybe I should. Maybe I will be. All right, we're thrust climb, open climb, and we are navving. Let's go ahead and check the flight plan out here. After YNN, we're going to go Picos. The Toliss box is, the 319 box is definitely a little funky. Should have started the chrono. When it comes to these RNAV arcs and things like that, we may be going to the flight factor here in a little bit. Bass World YouTube, or YT, what's up, man? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Romulus, you have the MFGs as well and like them a lot. I'll definitely check them out. Swarm says, is stick neutral by 100 per Airbus or employer? It is an Airbus recommendation. It's not an actual call out. Well, you don't have to call it out. I call it out for you guys on stream. But essentially what's happening with the whole stick neutral by 100 is on the takeoff roll below 100 knots, the rudder doesn't have very much authority because there's no flow, there's no laminar flow over the rudder, right? So it's harder to maintain center line. Henry, what's up, man? Thank you for subscribing. So we put forward pressure on the stick. That way we have a little bit more traction with the nose wheel to maintain center line with the rudder pedals, because even without using the tiller, you have up to a few degrees to turn the nose wheel with the rudder pedals while you're on the ground. Now that will, in a curved fashion, the faster you go, the less, there's 10,000 feet, the less ability you will have to turn the nose wheel with the rudder pedals. It's kind of a curve thing. So the whole point of having that nose wheel down is so you can keep that center line nice and straight, or keep the airplane nice and straight on the center line before the elevator, or I'm sorry, before the rudder becomes effective. Above 100 knots, that rudder is effective enough, you got enough airflow that you can control the lateral direction of the aircraft. Alright, since we're doing 55, I'm going to climb us at 300 indicated here. 300 indicated is set. Lights are off. Up we go. Let's do a flyby shot. That's not a flyby view. Just unloaded my whole scenery cache. I'm liking those flybys. Paul Shoesmith, welcome to Private Pilot. Paul, welcome on board, man. Positive rates in chat for Paul. Welcome to first class, my friend, as Dimitri would say. We're going to go ahead and get in the cabin tour here as soon as we climb out. We don't have a lot of time in cruise, but I do want to show you guys the cabin. But Paul, thank you again for subscribing to the channel, man. Can I please explain what the Matavia mod is for? Basically, the Matavia mod is a light mod and a texture mod for the cockpit and wing textures that will greatly enhance your flight factor experience. And it's free. Dimitri says, if you're planning to do the VOR approach in the Skiathos, you definitely will need a flight factor. Or, no, we can do it in Toliss, man. We can do it. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Do it the old-fashioned way. It can be done. All right, looks pretty smooth. We're at a 15,000. Let's go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off. Make sure we're not going anywhere crazy. There's Yankee November, and then we're on our way. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this cabin. We're going to warp ourselves through the cockpit door here. Pretty standard Toliss cabin up here, but Aegean's got the nice carpet. I'm liking that. And then the seats I like these blue plush interiors. And I was actually looking at the YouTube videos of the GN and their new interior. I mean, it looks like a fancy plane to fly on. I would love to fly on this airplane. I love the blue, nice thick carpet on there. Take a look out over the wing. Yes, sir. Carl says those flyby sounds are pretty doggone impressive. I agree, man. I agree. Do any of the old Airbuses I have the old CRT displays? There is a mod that adds it to the flight factor. OT, not anymore. There are a few. You know what? That might be a lie. There are a few CRT or MCDUs, like exactly this one right here. We're well above transition. We'll go ahead and pull for standard. So I've noted that like this pop out right here, you see the brightness knob is a round knob as opposed to what they have modeled here in the 3D cockpit. Now they addressed this in the 321, but this McDo in real life can be very hard to see because if the sun's coming in at an angle, which were like the screens used to be. Now, I haven't seen any CRT screens in a while. A lot of them, they pretty much, as soon as they go bad, they just retrofit them out. But yeah, I have seen that mod. I haven't actually used it, though. All right, we're coming up to 20 for 23. Salem says, no type rating required for the NEO family when you're flying the 320 CEO. That is correct. All you have to do is just a couple differences. A true NEO is going to have a few different cockpit indications. You're going to have a dual cooling push button up here on the overhead. Now, we wouldn't have an N1 mode up here either because we would be flying N1. If this was a true NEO, we would have N1 gauges. You wouldn't have EPR gauges. All right, coming up on 1,000 feet to level off. I don't know. You probably can't smoke on a GN, but I bet back in the day you could. So let's go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off. Let's do another flyby shot here. Oh, I keep hitting shift 3. That's not good. Pretty good to me. That is pretty good to me. Making the turn at YNN there. The TPR pedals are the best? I have to look into them, man. I do know I was looking at those MFGs. I was looking at those MFGs for quite a while. Get to go over some ortho here, finally. I mean, I like the look of the NEO on that 319. I really do.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Thank you for the subscription, man. Welcome. It'd be fun to see some retro flights. Well, we just did that 727 retro. We might have to hop into the 73200 here pretty soon. Ramon Thompson says, hey, V1, in addition to the items that have boxes around them, i.e. man, flex, thrust, climb, are there others that you call out? So, the FMA, talk about the FMA real quick here. As we're level off 300, we'll go back to managed speed. Here the engines spool up. Oh. Very nice. Essentially, if you want to be a good Airbus pilot, you will live and die by the FMA. And by FMA, I'm referring to these columns here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anytime there is a change in the FMA, that means there is some type of change in the airplane, whether it's a thrust change mode, a vertical speed or vertical deviation change mode, a lateral deviation mode, an approach capability, an auto thrust capability. Anytime there's a change, something will become boxed. A good Airbus pilot, anytime there is a boxed item, you will either enunciate it or at least acknowledge it. Now, that will depend on the company you work for. For us, when there is a change and it's boxed, you need to enunciate it. So, if we go thrust idle and you see it boxed thrust idle, thrust idle. And so many times, if you get in a situation where you're confused of what's happening,
Subscriber ahead.
Epicness,
Look up.
357, thank you for subscribing, man. Anytime you're confused of what the airplane is doing, just look at your FMA and read it and understand what it's telling you, because everything you need to know about the airplane is here, not over here. These are just buttons, nothing over here. Read what is happening here. This is what the airplane is doing. So right now we are in speed hold mode. We're in altitude cruise, so we've reached our cruise altitude. We are in a nav. This is our minimums box, or an approach capabilities box, which hasn't been loaded yet. Thank you for the subscription there, Sice. So that's empty, which is normal. And then we have our autopilot, our flight director capabilities, and our auto thrust is all active. So anytime you're confused and you're flying the Airbus around your sim, just look at your FMA and try to decipher what the plane is telling you. Looking up here can just add confusion. All right, so we've got that out of the way. We do have to stay on top of it here. So we no longer need LGKR. Let's get rid of that. LGTS. So this is what we're doing. We're going to be coming down kind of on a pseudo arrival here from low post, 16 miles out, joining the arc. Now, Toliss, we're going to have to do it the Toliss way. None of the boxes really have any of this modeled correctly, so we're going to have to just kind of make do with what we got. Low post, there's the intercept to an arc, so that looks good. There's our 16 DME. We're going to arc to the right, and then we're going to pick up our arrival into our RNAV. Loadmaster tip, what's going on, man? Here's some money for my Texas tea bourbon. Cheers, brother. Loadmaster tip, I appreciate it, man. That's what I got going on right here. We got a little Texas tea with some bourbon. So, thank you very much, Loadmaster tip. Appreciate your support for the channel, dude. Really appreciate it. So we're looking at our approach here. We're going to do this arc. Now we may have to do a hold to cross CFEB at 4,000. If we get there, we'll cross that problem when we get there. What I would like to do is load the approach via AppZoc and do this hold so we can descend in the hold. But the problem is the Toliss is going to draw like some crazy designs over here. So I'm going to try to do a regular path down, but we have to be careful. This route, you're going to be kept high, and I'm pretty sure that's why they have the holds there on that approach, especially coming from this direction. Thank you for IFR Sim coming in with a $2 bomb. Wrote you a bigger message. You see it? IFR Sim, I did not see it, man. I apologize. There it is. When trying to get the volume right with the engines, I have noticed on video the NEOs are a lot more quiet. Was concerned about the low-end bass drone at cruise. Is it normal? IFR Sim, actually, it sounds pretty good to me. In all honesty, any NEO that I've been flying in cruise, they vibrate pretty darn good. And this sound that I'm hearing right now sounds pretty realistic. I know some planes vibrate more than others, but this one, I mean, honestly, I believe it. Like if I just kind of close my eyes and listen to the sound, I believe exactly what is happening here. Now, some NEOs that don't vibrate, some of the newer ones, probably a little bit quieter, but from my experience, I like this low-level hum that I'm hearing right now. Pretty good. But what I was saying, guys, is the terrain here is very high coming over this mountain, so we may have to do a hold to get down to our proper altitude. So let's pull up our approach chart. So we know CFEB is at 4,000, and I believe that is also in the box. I can see CFEB at 4,000 there, so that looks good. So we've got that. We're going to also break off and do well, there's our top of descent. We're going to just start down to 6,000 for right now. And let's go ahead and load up the weather. Right now it's 10:16. The temperature down there is 11. Magnetic wind is 3. Really? Great. 330 at 16. So in sim world, that means it's probably like 330 at 40. MDA for us. LNAV, VNAV capable Cat C aircraft, because we're at 134, is going to be 904. It's an MDA, so we don't have to add anything to it. So 904 is our MDA. We've got that in the box. Now you can see here FMA change. I got an MDA. That's perfect. That's how it's supposed to be. We're going to do config full. VAP is 134. Kind of reload the weather there. We're going to do manual brakes, full reverse. That way I can try to keep the brakes as cool as possible for our quick turn. Right now our estimated on time is 16:31. Perfect. That's 7 minutes early. That gives us a little extra time to turn the airplane around. Space Jam says, nice takeoff, Chief. I appreciate it, dude. Okay, so again, we got a couple things we need to hard tune though in this box. We're not totally out of the woods yet. So we're going to go back to the RadNav page. On our arrival here, I want to have, it's already hard tuned, 110.8. But we got to make it big, so we got to go 110.8. Now in real life, I could just type in MKR, but the Toliss won't let you use the 3-letter identifier. You got to use the frequency. So now you see how this is a bigger frequency or a bigger display. That means that it's hard tuned and it won't auto cycle out. I want to use that as a raw data backup for our approach in here. Also, to verify that I'm on the correct radial in, I'm going to just go ahead and select 234, but the outbound would actually be 054. +2 -2 rule, 054 inbound. So I've got that hard tuned. Now I can see on my VOR, of course 054, 110.8, I can use that as an extra backup. You can see while I'm talking about the altitude here is coming in over this terrain. It's no joke. Coming out of tangent 1021, that looks good. Zoom it in here. Things are looking up. We're going to continue descent all the way down to 10,000. We'll go ahead and get the seatbelt sign on. I'll rearm those. And here we go. What's the difference between MDA and DA? So MDA is a minimum descent altitude. Typically you're going to use an MDA on every approach other than a Category 2 with an asterisk and a Category 3. Cat 3, Cat 2 probably going to be a DH, which is a radar altimeter readout or a decision height above the ground. An MDA is a minimum decision altitude, which is a barometric altitude. Most of the time, all your approaches, you want to put it in the MDA box. This is a really short flight. Yes, it is Virtual 73. Short flight. Paul says, taking notes, my first descent wasn't so good. Yeah, you need to be on top of it coming in here. Let's go ahead and zoom this out a little bit, see what it's got us planned at. So I'm pretty much set up to intercept the inbound. Now I could be at 6,000 at low posts, but I don't want to be below 250 all the way, so I'm going to run it in a little bit further. The hardest part is going from your cruise altitude to meeting your final approach fix altitude not being super high. CFEB is at 4,000, so you might have to make a turn on the hold. I can already see here that the box is predicting I'm going to be high. You see how it has the amber? Let's go find it. When there is an amber circle, that means it's predicting you to be high. So at TS26, it's got us showing at 3210, and we're supposed to, well, that's incorrect. That's just the Tollissism. That should, I don't know why that's amber, unless there's a speed restriction there. Below 210 knots, that might be what it is. But what you want to be worried about and want to be focused on is making your CFEB at 4,000. We're approaching a low post. Things are looking good though. We're still pretty good. 70 miles out. That's a cool shot descending over the mountains there. OT says V1, usually when I see a pic of an Airbus cockpit, I identify it has CRT displays or not by the rounded edges on the displays. When they retrofit them, do they keep the rounded edges? The rounded bezels on the displays, you're talking about like on the edges here? No, well, are you seeing it like this? Honestly, man, I've looked at so many, they all kind of blend together. I wouldn't be able to tell you. This looks pretty normal to me. But I do know Toliss was trying to represent as kind of a CRT display. At least I thought they were. They all blend together, man. When you've sat up there as long as I have, they all kind of start to look the same. All right, so we got to get below 250. So this is where you got to be on top of it here. Speed reduction. We'll get the speed brakes out. That's why I set that 10,000. Another green says, I'm waiting at the gate. When do we start? Hey, we're on our descent, man. I hope you're waiting on the ground in Thessaloniki. Dimitri, help me out, man. How do I pronounce the airport? Lima Golf Tango Sierra. Thessaloniki? Thessaloniki. I don't know. All right, here's 250 knots. Ooh, we got the engine spooling up there. That's a rookie mistake. All right, set 6,000. Down we go. We're going to get our Greek speed brakes out now. Lights coming on. Down we go. So, hard to get a good sound in flyby when you're at idle thrust. But that's pretty darn good to me. I take that any day. That sounds pretty good. There's our announcements. Dougal says, loving being on Airbus school. Thanks so much. Dougal, I appreciate it, man. I hope you guys can pick up little tidbits. I know I'm talking fast, but that's just my excitement, man. There's a lot to do in these 2 short flights. So you may not pick up all of it, but if you can pick up a little tidbit here or there, I'm doing my job. Thank you for the subscription, man. I think it's James. Sometimes I see it flash and then it goes away. I got to figure out why I can't see the name of the subscribers, but I appreciate it. Carl says Thessaloniki. Thessaloniki. Emphasis on the ni. Thessaloniki? Thessaloniki. Honestly, that's the hardest part about doing this whole Euro tour, guys, is how to pronounce all these different airports. But here we go. This is going to be another beautiful twilight approach, and then the flight into Skiathos. Oh, I love it. All right, looks like we're turning already to join. Okay, so we are going to have to hold, I think. We're at 6. Once we come across the arc here, we can go all the way down to 4,000 on the arc. So we're joining the arc. Our DME is at 15.3. I knew at 16 miles, so I'm good there. That's why I hard-tuned that. So we're inside of the arc. Toliss is doing an iffy job on flying a 14 DME arc. We'll see here. It should not go below 14. We're at 14.3. Here's the trick, guys. Here's the trick. I want to reduce my speed to 210, but I don't want to reduce my descent rate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull for vertical speed. That's going to lock in my vertical speed. Now I'm going to reduce my speed to 180 knots. And what happens, the airplane is going to maintain that open descent rate because I was in open descent. Had I not selected vertical speed, the airplane would gradually shallow out the descent and attempt to slow down first. But what I did there is I selected vertical speed, so I locked in whatever that speed was. And it's not going to speed up because it was in an open descent at idle thrust, right? So it's not going to go any faster. But I locked it in, but now I can change the speed carrot back to 180, so I know as soon as we start to slow down, or as soon as we get closer to 4,000, it's not going to try to speed up. I'm going to go ahead and get the brakes out again here. Get us down, baby. Dimitri says it sounds like it is all Greek to you. Yeah, it definitely is, man. Ryan coming in with Thessaloniki. Ryan, appreciate it, man. Thanks, dude. Motive says, man, I just learned how to fly the Zebo, but seeing you fly the Airbus makes me want to purchase one. I will eventually. You got to do it, man. It's fun. All right, so here we are on the arc. We're at 5,000 for 4,000. Max 210 knots at CFM, so we're going to be okay. We're 1,000 feet to go. I think we're going to be just fine, guys. We're going to be just fine. But you see the work it took to get down and be on speed and be on profile. That is why they've got these holds out here, because I'm sure if you include a bunch of traffic and stuff, you're probably not going to be able to get down in time, so you got to do a turn or two in the hold. All right, we're VFE minus 10, so let's go ahead and get the slats out. We'll go flaps 1. Skiathos is pronounced ski, one word, athos. Skiathos. Skiathos? Skiathos. Skiathos? Max, appreciate the help, man. Another Gene says dropping the anchor. Yes, sir, we are. Oh, we're leveling 4,000. We'll stow the brakes. 180 knots. Look at that. We're down on time. We'll go flaps 2, lower that AOA so the flight attendants can move around the cabin. You don't have to really go flaps 2 there. My rule of thumb is if I'm cruising around, and it's all going to depend on your weight, but if I start cruising around about 7.5 degrees, if my AOA is up there that high, I go ahead and drop flaps 2. That way the flight attendants don't have to push those heavy carts up and down the aisle with that really high loadout. All right, we're kind of in and out of the clouds here. Let's go ahead and get the engine anti-ice on just a little bit. We don't know. I doubt we'll be accumulating any, but we'll throw it in there just in case. Right now we're looking good. Max 210, 4,000 feet. Everything is looking good. We cannot arm the approach button due to Toliss has an older software load here. So in order to arm your approach, you must be on a published segment. So we have to be on Cepheb inbound for this to arm. Dimitri, bro, really? Coming in with a gigantuan 50 bomb. Dimitri, thank you.
Ahead. Look,
Thank you, my friend. He says, thank you for flying into my childhood hometown. I get emotional just by looking at those hills and field. Thank you for the amazing ride, my friend. Dimitri, dude, thank you, man. Dimitri, you've been a big help just getting liveries set up, and I've been PMing Dimitri about he's my Greek dictionary. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, dude. It's the least I can do. I hope you enjoy the content. Obviously, looks like you are, so I appreciate it so much, man.
Donation.
Martin Pound coming in with another $6 bomb, dude. Thank you so much, man. He says, great videos. Thank you for supporting the channel, Martin. Glad to have you on board, man. Really appreciate your donation as well. Awesome, awesome stuff, man. I'm glad you're liking the content. All right, so the Toliss is going to do a little flyover. I don't know if this is because this is programmed as a flyover waypoint. That's why it has to do this. It might be. But as soon as we cross Cepheb, we should be able to arm the approach. Now I can see the runway kind of out there off my left, but we're going to see what the Toliss does here. We no longer need the anti-ice. We'll close that off.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
All right, let's see if we can arm it now. There we go. See, we're Cepheb inbound. Now we have final app nav. So we no longer need that chart. Oh, yeah, we do. That's the approach chart. We're going to set 3,500. 3,500 is blue. Final app. That means we have captured final approach mode, and we are on our way in now. So I'm probably going to just hand fly this approach because I enjoy hand flying in here, but at least I showed you how to get on this RNAV arrival. Coming from Corfu, this is a fun flight to do in the Airbus. It's a good one to test your skills because you go up to 230 to get down in time, stable to get on the approach. It's a good little pilot test that you guys can do for yourself at home there. And you got beautiful scenery, Corfu, and this is also a Flight Tampa scenery as well. So this, I don't know if this would really happen in real life here, coming around doing this big blowout turn. But it may be if this was a mandatory flyover. Now we can see we've got the brick, LDEV, lateral deviation, vertical deviation. Now it's just a normal approach from here, guys. Just a normal approach from here. Looking good. We're actually about 8 minutes early, so I'm going to go ahead and manage the speed. Final lap, down we go. Let's go ahead and lower the landing gear. A little bit early to get us slowed up. Alexander says, hey guys, I live in Thessaloniki. Alexander, awesome, man. Well, I hope you're plane spotting for us today. All right, gear is down, 3 green. We're going to configure on this approach early because it is a little funky coming in over the hill there. Flaps 3. VFE next, -10. We'll go ahead and drop it all the way down. Flaps full. Alright, we're going to hand fly this sucker in here. Autopilot's coming off. Now, since I have visual with the PAPIs, I'm not going to follow my flight directors. So, if you're not following the flight directors, make sure you turn them off. I'm going to go track FPA mode. I'm going to set go around altitude to 4,000 feet. And now I'm just hand flying. I'm going to follow the PAPIs visually into the airport. Now, the reason this one's a little bit funky is because you have this hill out here. Another reason why I don't think they can get an ILS in here. It's a little bit a steeper approach. The RNAV will get you down early, and then you're going to be low coming in over the hill. But if you acquire the airport early, you can kind of stay just a tad high and follow the visual glide slope indicator in. All right, so let's run a landing checklist. Arm that. Let them know. Cabin crew advised auto thrust is in speed mode. ECAM memo, landing all green. Auto brakes are off. Landing check is complete. We got flaps full. I'm going to use full reverse because I want to save the brake temps because we're going to turn this bird around. This is a real-life schedule here. We're landing at 16:30. Our out time is 16:55. So we got a 25-minute turn window to turn this puppy around. I'm sorry for the subscriptions there, man. I'm missing the subscribers, but we're on approach now. Things are looking good. Oh, I kind of like this view for landing, but I'm afraid if I change it, I might end up just chunking it real good. So let's just kind of do that. Might as well stay with the default view. It's kind of why I wish I had my track IR on during stream, but we'll live with it. 2 whites, 2 reds, down to land, clear to land. Landing inhibit is normal below 750 RA. That's this little purple indicator over here. That just means it's going to inhibit any nuisance warnings. Look at the scenery on the background, though. Man, that looks good. Thank you, Pish. Not a lot of runway here either. I mean, it's plenty, but you don't want to be screwing around. Spoilers. Reverse green. Decelling. $70 knots. We'll take it. We'll take a 230. I think that slope runway came up to get me there. Stow the buckets. We're going to make the right turn here at Echo, or I'm sorry, is that Bravo? That's Bravo. Clean it up. Lights are coming off. Get the APU primed up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Thessaloniki. Aero Club, we don't want to take that taxiway. Let's fire up the APU. Bit of balloon there, just a tad. I love it. All right, we're going to make the left turn here at Alpha and into the ramp. Is that altimeter setting okay? It looks a little bit outdated. 1021. Let's see what it might have updated, but that's, I mean, you're not going to crash. It's visual. Right now it's 3027. So it's a little off, but that's normal. That was actually a pretty significant change. Maybe I was off. We're gonna have to do a parking job over here. We got a lot of interesting carriers. I wish I can get rid of these United birds. We'll make the left here, spot 3. We'll swing it around. Ramp crew got to be ready for the quick turn. That's right, Loadmaster Tip. I hope you guys are ready down there. A little bit of cheating here since I don't have any marshalers. Perfect. All right. Brake set. APU is available. 2, 1. Seatbelt signs are coming out. Spool them down. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Thessaloniki. Let's do a quick replay on that. A little off in the center line there too. Man, parking job. Bourbon made me do it. Let's take a quick look at this replay before we open up the doors and get the ground handling in here. A little bit wobbly. Felt a little wobbly on that flare. So the real approach is a 3.9. So I went below it. I got about 3 reds coming in close there. But that's because that glide path is actually 3.9. So wasn't the best job on my part. But we're down safe in the zone. Sam F. $5 bomb, dude. Thank you so much. He says, thanks for all your great streams. I've learned a lot about flying the Airbus and also things that I've been able to use in my flight training. Sam F, dude. So happy to hear that. Appreciate the $5 bomb and support on the channel. Keep up the hard work, man. All right, coming in over the fence line. Ooh, yes. Have I ever flown in Europe in real life? Not in the Airbus, man. I did one long time ago. I flew a Citation. Yeah, that wasn't even Europe, was it? No, I haven't. That would be a lie if I was not in Europe. Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at that outside. Let's see what happened here. So it came in over the threshold okay. Pretty stable there. And I think I just went early flare again. Yeah, see? That's... Oh, wow. It's frames when I try to load in that city. And we just had to put her down. How sweet does that sound, though?
Subscriber ahead.
Let's see where it touchdown. We'll watch one more here of this touchdown. I think it was pretty much on the marks, wasn't it? Pretty darn close. Definitely in the touchdown zone. Thank you for the subscription, man. Ooh. A little flat. A little flat. A little disappointed in myself on that one, actually. That wasn't a very good landing. Down and safe. I love those sounds. The city in the background. That is cool. Whew. Alright, let's turn this puppy around. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of replay mode. Let's continue. Let's do a proper shutdown here. So the APU is on. We're gonna go ahead APU bleed on. Beacon light off. Fuel pumps can come down. Prepare doors for arrival and cross-checked. We're going to go ahead and open it up. We'll get the ground handling to drive out. Thank you, dear. Just got refreshed here from the flight attendants in the galley. Quick turn. They want to get to the overnight. So we've got, let's see, let's do our flow here. So we got fuel pumps are off. APU bleed is on. Seatbelt no smoking can come off. Beacon is off below 5%. Thank you for the subscribe, man. Doors are opening up there. That's pretty normal. We got the trucks arriving at the aircraft. At this point, if you're a flight crew member, you're going to run to the lav real quick and get right back into the cockpit because you want to turn this puppy around. So we have to load up the box here. I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna leave Sim Toolkit Pro up there right now. It's gonna be a little wonked out. But you know what? I'm gonna go complete flight. How about this? And then I'm gonna file the new flight plan with Sim Toolkit Pro first, and then we can continue. So we'll simulate bathroom break here while I'm filing this LGTS. I'll put you over here on the wing view. To Skiathos, LGSK. Put that in there. Aegean NEO, correct. We're going to be continuation of flight 588. Generate. Tango Delta says, good landing is one you can walk away from. Great one is when you can use the plane again. Absolutely, Tango Delta. That's my motto, man. Captain Alex says, the Toliss A319 always looks to be floating very much. Is that realistic or not? It looks like you only put it on the ground firmly or flare very just. Yeah, so I said this briefly on my last stream. For some reason, all of the Airbuses that we have, and I don't know why, I don't know what the reason is. It could be something as simple as, you know, the resolution in my Warthog isn't quite there, or I need different curves. But in the real plane, when you hear that 30-foot call, if you're not adding back pressure to that stick, you're going to smash. 10 out of 10. Maybe 9 out of 10. And in the sim, I feel like you can't even start to flare until you're at 10 or 5 feet. And that's just not realistic. So I'm so afraid of just smashing. I hear those call after years of hearing the call-outs, right? And it's just muscle memory. Even at 50 feet, I kind of do a little just 50, 40, and then 30, it really start to feel it, because at 30, that THS begins trimming down to -2 degrees. And that's if you don't do that in the real airplane, you're gonna plan it. And in the Toliss, I feel like if you start flaring at 30 feet, it's too early. All right, we're getting refueled. Flight plan has been refiled. I'm gonna hit fly now. Perfect. Looks like we got her up there. But yeah, when do I flare in the 320, Evan? That's gonna be right at that 30-foot mark. You begin adding that back pressure to the stick. And all you're doing is arresting the descent rate. Because you're already at a flare, you know, you're already at 3.5, 5 degrees nose up, depending on your speed and weight. So you already have a nice attitude. What you need to do is just arrest that descent rate a little bit. All right, use the restroom. He used the restroom. Everybody used the restroom. Let's go ahead and turn this box around. So just like a regular diffs rip, we're going to start here at the data page. We're going to load up LGTS to LGSK. Flight number is Alpha Echo 588. Cost index is going to be 55. We're cruising over at, oh boy, what was the flight level? Oh, I think it was like 17,000. It's shorter than before. All right, here we go. We're going to depart off of 3-4, which is one we just landed on. Sorry if I ignore the chat a little bit here as I turn this bird around. We got 20 minutes to get out of here. So we're going to get 3-4. There would be no talking in the cockpit. Everybody would be feverishly programming their stuff. We're going to do the LECPA 1 Alpha. Insert that. And then that's out to LECPO. From LECPO, we're going to pick up Lima 617. I love hearing that APU. You hear that APU running in the background? That is so realistic because the doors open, the catering trucks are here. You can hear the APU up front a little bit more pronounced than you can, because you can't really hear it at all in honesty when the doors are shut. But when it's open like that, it's a fantastic job on the sound modding. It just sounds so real. Lima 617 to SKP. All right, now this is where we have to be careful. So let's pull out our charts. We no longer need any of this. Don't need you, but I do want to keep the 10.9 page out. So let's go ahead and just keep the taxi page out. All right, so that's up there, but we don't need you. And then we also need to put in LGSK here. Not doing any arrival, but the approach is going to be the LCTR 001. This is what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to go arrival. And we're doing NDB 01. And I think I have to load a star for the Toliss to work properly. Let me just double check this. Maybe not. Let's insert that. For some reason it always loads it funny.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Thank you for the subscription in flight. Appreciate it, man. What if I load the arrival? What if I load NDB01? Let's just load a random arrival via SKP. Insert. Now we have to delete. There we go. That's what I want. So we have to delete Atika. This is a Toliss workaround. You wouldn't have to do this in the real aircraft. And then we're going to delete the disco here. And we have numerous SKPs, which would not happen in the real aircraft. So we'll delete the repeated SKP. And we'll delete that. So that's the arrival. So that's how you have to kind of build this arrival in the Toliss if you want to fly the Toliss. You have to load the arrival so you can select the Sierra Kilo Papa transition, which we want to make sure we cross at 4,000 feet. So I'm also going to put an altitude constraint in here of 4,000. 4,000 feet there. That looks good. RadNav, nothing to worry about right now getting out of here. LGKR, we're going to just put LGTS there. Our RadNav for the departure, we don't need one. We're just going to clear this so it'll auto-tune. All right, that looks good. Flight plans in the box. X-Plane says, hey, if you want, just stop by to hit that like button. We'll catch the stream replay. Thanks, XP.
Subscriber ahead.
How are we looking on time? We got to get out of here. So we got to load it up here. We're going to take, it's the last flight of the night, so probably a full bird. 145. Light cargo. Fuel requirement 4.0 is set. Let's do it. 130. 135, 145, flaps 1. Boom. All right, let's start closing it up. APU is on. We've got our fuel on board, so fuel pumps come back on. Seatbelts can come back on and auto. We'll go ahead and drive away. They're getting out of here. We got to do a quick look at the departure. LGKR, brief the FO, hey man, we're going to do a single engine taxi, just start one up, we're going to get rolling. Once we got one rolling, we'll do the rest of it, we'll start up engine 2 once we're on the taxiway out of here. Where was it? What the heck? It's the wrong airport, that's why. There we go, and departure procedure, LECPO 1 Alpha. There we go, perfect. Up at or above 6,000 feet. Top altitude at or above 7. Put 7,000 in the box there. Start closing up the doors. Those are closing up. Back to arc mode. We'll reset our flight directors. There we go. So now we have one FD2 in the box. The doors are closing. New squawk code, whatever it may be. We're just going to squawk 2000 for us. Trucks have driven away. Look at that shot there, though, with the reflections from the terminal. Oof. Doors are closed up. Disconnect the ground power. It's not even on there, so we can just hide the ground power.
Subscriber.
Thank you for the subscription, NKO. Appreciate it, man. We can hide all. All right, everything is in the box. Doors and windows are closed. Let's run a checklist. Windows, maintenance login, tail number, onboard and check. Cockpit prep complete. Gear pins and covers removed. Signs on auto. ADIRS, we're still navin'. I'd come down here. Nav accuracy is high. That looks good. And then if you want to get crazy, you can come over here. Make sure you check your IRS drift, position drift. Make sure everything was all good. But it was a short flight. We're good to go. So we're nav mode. Fuel. 3.9 required, 4 on board. Engine mode selector is normal. Altimeters. 3027 set. We just checked that on the way in, so that's good. Windows, doors, and sides, they're all closed and armed. Beacon is on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake on for now. Force start checklist complete. Last thing I forgot to do here in the diffs rip is the initialization B page, which is very important. 30.6 and 55.1 with a block fuel of 4.0. 37 minutes extra gas, increasing, not bad. All right, it's 48. Our takeoff time is 55. I think we're ready to go. Loadmaster tip, doors and windows are closed. I'm sorry I blinded you, left my taxi light on the whole time there. But we'll go ahead, good start. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for the good work. Turn it over, 42 PSI. Cranking 1. We can relax now. Look at some chat messages. I totally ignored you guys during that. I apologize, but I just want to show you how we turn this puppy around in 20 minutes. XP, thanks for stopping by the stream, man. I know you stopped by, you said that earlier, but thanks for stopping by, man. Didn't mean to ignore you. Just trying to do a 20-minute turn here on the ground. When's my next planned flight? As I'm still working, enjoy this. So you know what, Martin? I was scheduled to fly Wednesday. They just removed that flight from my schedule, and they put me on available status. So I don't know, man. I know we're parking a lot of airplanes all around. I may be set out to park an airplane here. All right. Give them salute. Good start on 1. We're going out on 1 engine. Flaps 1. Yellow electric pump is on. The Toliss mouse is so laggy. Do you guys notice that? Whenever you scroll across something, it feels laggy. We'll go ahead and leave the APU bleed on. Let's get out of here. Aegean 588, taxi 34 via Delta Alpha 4 Alpha Alpha 6. Delta 4 Alpha Alpha 6 to 34 Aegean 588. We rolling. That's pretty cool with the single engine. I love it. Dimitri says you don't bother with the flaps 1 plus F and all that. No, so perf, the THS don't need to set that, man, not on the narrow body. Now some carriers may require you to do that for a reminder, but in a narrow body Airbus, that's not going to do anything. I believe on the 330, it'll auto set trim on engine start. But you can't even move this lever with the engines off. You can't move the THS without any hydraulics. So we don't set that in the box at all. There's no, it doesn't do anything for you in the narrow body. Now, like I'm saying, that's just our company procedure. Some companies may require them to set it. But I know with our zero fuel weight CG at 30.0, what's our trim up going to be? It's going to be pretty much, if I were to just run through this, down 0.3. I mean, barely. I mean, do you want to see how much it moves? There we go. Your trim is set. So will the airplane fly? Yeah, even if it wasn't set. Realistically, as long as you're in the green band here, you're probably going to be just fine, especially in a 19.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
But in real life, of course, yeah, we would actually set the trim after engine start and say confirm 0.3% set, and say yeah, it's set 0.3, and we actually check it 3 or 4 times. All right, I'm going to get the yellow electric pump is off, APU bleed is on, engine mode selector over to ignition start, and this should automatically pop up, but it doesn't do it in the Toliss when you do a single engine taxi. So we'll go ahead and start engine 2. Now we can be heads up as we cross the runway. You don't want to be doing a checklist while you cross an active runway, but I do need to become visible here. Turn on my lights. Martin says, you're doing another flight? I'm shattered. Dude, me too, man. This is the fun flight, though. This is going into Skiathos. Skiathos? Oh. I feel like I'm saying it with a Hispanic accent. Spooling up number 2 on the taxi out. Beautiful. Clear of the runway. Sounds like we got a good start on engine 2. That can come off. We'll go ahead and turn our lights off. After start checklist, engine AIS is off. Yellow electric pump is off. Rudder trim 0. After start checklist complete. Let's do our flight control check. Now that should automatically switch over when I move the stick. We'll give it a minute. There we go. Flight controls, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Everything else looks good. Do our auto brakes max. Takeoff config, on and auto. Transponder is in TARA. Look at that, 16:55 departure time. Aegean 588, runway 34, clear for takeoff. 34, clear for takeoff, Aegean 588. For takeoff checklist, gross wake piercing is complete. Pitch trim, 0.3% CG set, V1, VR, V2, flex, 30, 45, no flex set. Flaps, config 1+F, fuel on board, 3.9 required, 3.9 on board. Engine mode selector is normal. Bleeds and packs are set. For takeoff checklist complete. All the while, in real life, we'd be working the radios as well, so you can see why this is a 2-crew operation. Taxi light is coming on to takeoff. We're clear for takeoff at 55Z. Look at that, guys. We did it. We turned it. 20 minutes. Skiathos. Skiathos. Thank you, IFR Sim. Alright, I hope you guys caught all of that and didn't miss a single instruction. We are ready to go. Spool them up. Here we go. Toga SRS nav. Auto thrust is blue. Do not stress set. Neutral by 100. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. 0. Oh, yeah. I'm going to go autopilot 1 because this is the departure with some stunning views as we go over the city. cloud reload there. That's all right. The Sledge became a member commercial pilot. Sledge, thank you so much, man. Welcome to the channel. Check out this thrust reduction here. Juicy. Thrust climb, auto thrust. Sledge, thank you so much for joining the channel, man. Positive rates in chats for Sledge. Sledge, if you want a little bit more information about your new perks now, go ahead and hit exclamation point welcome in chat. Really appreciate you joining the channel, my friend. Thank you. Look at the city down there, man. Unless I don't want to overspeed these flaps, which we are just about to do, so. Flap 0. Look at that view. Oh man, we're going to hit some clouds, unfortunately. Why do I announce nav if it's not boxed? So that is the only time you're really going to announce nav if it's not boxed, because this is an RNAV departure, so nav is armed. So whoever's asking that question earlier about, does it always have to be boxed in flight? Yes. On takeoff, there's a few exceptions. That is one of them. When you're on an RNAV, you're going to see nav blue. You want to see that because that means you're going into an RNAV departure, which is what we're flying. We're flying the let's see, 10-3. This one right here. This departure procedure. We're going right into nav mode. GN 588, continue climb, flight level 170. Continue climb 170, GN 588. Oh my goodness, look at these views, guys. Zoom it out so it's not super loud. The golden sunset. Chrono! I'll get it, Paul. I forgot it. I know. I need my FO. I need to get the Romulus script in the 319. There she goes in the turn. Does that not look juicy or what, guys? Do I respect the rules about different meals between you and your colleague in the flight deck? Yeah, it's technically in our book, you're not supposed to eat the same thing. And yeah, we try to abide by that. Trust me, I've had food poisoning on an airplane. It's not fun. Nobody wants to have 2 pilots up there with food poisoning. We need the strobes on, Cap. Oh my goodness, you're right. Totally missed the strobes up. There goes standard. We'll pull for standard. We're at 10,000 feet. We'll kill the landing lights. I just hate how, that's another pet peeve of mine, is on the Toliss, you can only move the switches in one direction. You can't like move it off, up or down. You have to move it all the way through the cycle. Good call on the strobes. Looks way better now, doesn't it? Oh my goodness, that looks juicy. Aegean 588, cleared direct to Mike Kilo Romeo on course. Oh no, disregard. Disregard. Aegean 588. Cleared direct to Lekpo on course. Direct Lekpo on course, Aegean 588. That way we don't have to fly all the way back to the VOR. We'll just go to Lekpo. We're going to enjoy this while we can here. The golden hour is fading. Slam Kid says no one wants to fish. What's the point of engaging autopilot 1 after gear up? Just so I can show you guys some views. In real life, I'd probably still be hand flying. But I like to engage the autopilot so I can show you guys around. Now that is a shot for the ages right there. Wow. Here the thrust reduction must be reaching 17,000. Pilot boy, a triple chirp. Anytime you get the triple chirp in the cockpit, that means there is some type of reversion happening. Either you're going from open descent to a vertical speed, or you went from nav, you flew off a nav path and you're now in, in a heading track or something. There we go, altitude cruise. 17,000. It seems kind of low, but I guess that's right. Should have disarmed the spoilers. Oh, great. What do we have now? Electric bat 1 fault. Clear the caution. Acknowledge the ECAM. Alright, clear electric. Clear electric. APU battery start not available. Okay, clear status. Nav 1 or battery 1 fault. Excellent. And we can't start the APU now. That's not good. Alright. We'll go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off. So we're going to need ground power, so now I'll have the FO call on Skiathos. Skiathos? Saying, hey man, call ops, let them know we're going to need a ground power cart on the ground because we're not going to be able to start the APU. Actually, we probably could start it from the gens though, right? I'll have to look that up in the ECAM, but I don't really have time to look it up right now because we've got to prep. Yeah, it's not a big deal because we don't really need the battery. But all right, let's go ahead and start our preps so we don't have to feel rushed for Skiathos. All right, here we go. LCTR runway 01. This approach, guys, is very much like when we went into Calvi. However, we have a lot more room, but you still want to be configured before you roll out, because as you roll out, you're going to be slightly off center. Now, looking at this chart here, we have to cross the VOR at 4,000 feet. You cannot descend until you are outbound from the VOR to 2,000. Distance 10 from the VOR is your marker to go around. So we also need to hard tune this in the RadNav page and back everything up. So, first things first, enter destination data. I know that's what I'm doing. We're going to pull up radio nav. I need to put in SKP. I'm going to put that in my nav 1. I'm also going to put in this course here, 203. It's the same course, same direction that I'm going to be flying. So I've got 203 course outbound, and now I will have distance hard tuned SKP. Boom. So if something should fail, we get off nav, anything like that, I can immediately go back to Rose VOR, and I've got my 203 course there. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn down the terrain ND there so it's not as bright on the screen. After that, we're going to be coming back around to the NDB. Now there's an NDB here, 326, which looks like I've already tuned in. Now in real life, real airplane would have, I'd be able to put SKC, and it would say SKC here, but you see how I just made that bigger? That's sufficient enough. That means it's hard tuned now. So I now have SKC. So if I were to switch to ADF mode here, I now have an ADF bearing pointer. Well, I'm not really going to need the bearing pointer on this approach. I am, however, going to want to keep the VOR up so I can verify my distance and course coming off of this VOR here. Once you reach this 10 DME point, we can start our right turn to 008 inbound. There's no other VORs that I need to have the FO back up, so we'll just leave his off there. So that looks good on the RadNav. Let's go to progress page. I'm going to put the airport in here. We're going to do LGSK just for a quick and dirty bearing distance to the airport if we become lost or disoriented for some reason. I've got that in the prog page. Perf data. Manage descent. No, we're going to descend at 300, which we need to start down pretty soon here. 0.78 is fine. Now we also need to begin our descent probably right about now. So let's go ahead and set 4,000. and manage the descent. Down we go. We'll get the current weather there in a second. A little bit high, but we should be able to catch up to it here. Not too worried about it. Alright, next phase, approach mode. I'm going to just pull out the most recent weather here for my sim because I don't want to have an incorrect altimeter setting for this approach. I'm not even sure this approach is authorized at night. 040 at 10 and 3024. And it's probably about 5-ish degrees down there. Alright. So we've got that set. I wanted to show you guys this view here, though, before we... I mean, just check this out. Oh, we got the stupid clouds blocking the water. There we go. Take a break, look at the chat here. Do a small step climb tutorial? Yes, I would. I don't know if it's completely modeled all the way, though. I'll have to take a look at it. I know a couple guys have asked for it. Can't you route engine bleed to start the APU? No, Pat. The APU is not... You don't use bleed pressure to start the APU. It's a battery start. Alright, look back at our MDA here. Circle to land on CDFA is going to be 16. Now, since it's an MDA, we're going to add 50 as well. So 1650 is set. Now, if I could, I would love to draw fixed rings here, but I can't do that in the Toliss using the fix info page. Now, in the 321, you guys will be able to, if you've watched my video on that. Getting a little high on profile, so we're going to dump the speed brakes here as we go down. But everything else looks pretty much good. Just that golden light barely coming through. Purple on the water there. Looks really good. Dumping those speed brakes. Some ship traffic out there. Alright, we're getting ready to go through 11.5. I'm going to manually select speed 250. We'll go ahead and get the Greek speed brakes out. Let the flight attendants know we're landing. Seatbelt sign is coming on. Looks like we're back on profile. We can go ahead and stow the speed brakes now. Alright, we're going to do medium brakes, flaps full. Simone says their step climbs are modeled in the Toliss, not the Flight Factory. Good to know, Simone. I will definitely look into that, and I'll maybe give a little video for you guys on that. Jerome Post, welcome to Commercial Pilot, man. Thank you so much for joining the channel. Welcome to First Class, as Dimitri says. I think I'm going to make that a little Nightbot command, because I like that way that sounds, Dimitri. Appreciate it. But, Jerome, thank you so much, man. Definitely use the command !welcome if you want to know a little bit more about your perks. But I know a lot of you guys have been asking about the podcast. You say you can't find them. If you're a member of the channel, you can find the podcast by just going to my YouTube page and then looking at the albums and then looking for the V1 After Dark. That should be all you need. I'm going to go ahead and continue reducing speed now. Let's go to 210 here. We don't want to be screaming in here past this VOR. So VOR at 4,000 feet. I made that restriction myself in the box. We know it's there. Seatbelts are on. Medium brakes. Flaps full. Full reverse. No fooling around. No floaties on this airport, man. For real. So let's look at the 10.9. And I didn't even realize how insane this airport was until I looked at some Google. That's not the right airport. Until I looked at some YouTube footage of planes landing here. You really got to be a cowboy coming into this airport. I mean, this makes St. Martin look like child's play when you see the YouTube videos of these guys flying in there. I saw a video of a British Airways Embraer. I swear he was 30 feet above the people. So I want to go airport 10.9. I mean, it's 5,300 feet, so there's not a lot of room to play around here. We definitely have room to stop as long as we don't float it out. So we're coming in runway 1. There is no PAPI or VASI in X-Plane, which sucks. So I'm going to show you guys a little trick when you're coming in using the Airbus to stay on a semi-good profile. Right about 1,000 feet, I'm sorry, about a mile from the runway, you should be about 500 feet, if I'm doing the math right. And I'll show you a little trick when we're flying inbound on the approach. But I don't have any PAPIs modeled, unfortunately, so it's even more challenging. Plus, I'm almost positive you're not allowed to do this procedure at night. Maybe you are, but you definitely got to be a cowboy to go in here, man. Hats off to these guys. If you don't believe me, check out some YouTube videos. Just Google people landing here, and it's crazy. On profile, on descent, we're caught up. We're caught up on the descent. Box is set up. Back to the chat. Michael asks, why does the Toliss descend steep sometimes? It's probably the way you have your profile set up. Maybe you were a little bit late on the descent, or maybe there's a restriction. Sometimes it tries to catch up to the descent profile. That's why ideally, if you have your descent already planned out and everything's in the box, if you manage your descent about 5 miles prior to your top of descent, you should be okay. That gives the airplane some time to nose over, get the thrust back, and capture that profile. If you wait all the way to 0, the airplane's essentially already starting behind because now it's got to nose over and throttle back or thrust back. So start your descent about 5 miles prior. That should keep you pretty much in the ballpark of being on the way to go there. Slam Cannon says 300 plus watching, only 216 likes. Let's hit that like button. Yes, Slam Cannon, thanks for reminding me. Again, guys, I know I've asked for it the last couple videos. Normally I don't, but if you like the content, you like the channel, please hit that like button. YouTube's reworked their algorithm, kind of put a hit on the channel for a little bit, but I think it's starting to pick up some traction again. So if you're enjoying the content, just hit that like button. I won't show up at your front door, I promise. Whiskus coming in with a $2 bomb. Thank you so much, man. He says, we're rooting for Ariana or Boom and to live long enough. Whiskus, thank you so much for your $2 donation, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel. Glad to see you around here. Awesome stuff, man. Thank you. Yes, if you guys are wondering about the sound pack, just type !sound pack, and it's a link to the exact sound pack I have. Now, you have to have the payware BSS sound pack for the 319 for this to work. You've got to have the payware version. All right, we'll help it out a little bit there. She's having a hard time slowing. See how it's having a hard time slowing to 210, which is kind of why I don't like that speed, 210. It's kind of a slippery speed in the Airbus. We'll crack the speed brakes a little bit here. But I just don't want to be flying in. Look at the water underneath the clouds. That last bit of sunset. Wow. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Alright, there we go. It looks like we're all the way down to 210 knots. We're VFE, well below -10. I'm going to go ahead and get the slats out as well. Unlike the Calvi approach, you don't need to be fully configured here for the circle, but you want to be pretty darn close. I tend to go flaps 3 out of order on this approach. Normally, I always say flaps 2, 180 at 2,000 feet above touchdown. That's in most normal situations. You can get away with that probably 78, 80% of the time. But little tricky airports like this, or instance Calvi when you want to be a config full, you're going to want to start to configure a little bit earlier. That way you're not chasing. You want all your time and energy focused on lining up with the runway and coming down nice and stable. So I'll go flaps 3 out of sequence most likely. Once we hit the SKP, there's 4,000. I'm going to just keep, for passenger comfort, I'm just going to keep it at 180 because I know we're leveling off. And I'm just going to keep the thrust at idle. I don't want it to spool all the way back up now and wake everybody up. All right, so we're speed alt star. 4,000 feet. Once we cross over the VOR, which we've just crossed over SKP, we can see the DME there. I've seen my needles. As soon as my needles flip, I know I can start my descent down to 2,000 feet. Here comes the flip. The needle is flipped. Technically, we can go down to 2,000 feet. We want to make sure we actually cross what D230 center as well. So, not technically the VOR. There's one more fix we got to wait for. Let's go flaps 2. Desert Snake says, have a safe landing. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Why'd I choose medium brakes? The Sledge, I'm probably going to turn them off and use full brakes. But medium brakes is the most you can select in the Airbus, in the air. Max is only used for RTO. But as soon as I touch down, I'll probably just use manual brakes. But 5,300 foot strip, yeah, you're going to select medium for sure. All right, there is our waypoint. Let's go ahead and go open descent. There's our D203C. So down we go to 2,000 feet. I don't believe we can arm the approach. Oh, we can't arm it now. All right, so we are on a published segment there. That's good. I'm going to also go 160 manually here. Give the flight attendants an extra nod. Say, hey, make sure you button it up back there. .185 knot max in the turnout, so we're going to be fine. I'm just going to hold it at flaps 3 160. So this is where I'm going to go flaps 3 160 at a sequence. There's our island over there. And I'm going to leave this configuration until we make the turn. The reason I'm doing this at 160 is because it's going to help with my turn radius. If I was coming in here at 185, I'm going to have a little bit larger turn radius. And I want to just put everything in my favor, right? Put the airplane in a position where it's going to favor you on your landing. So I don't want to be swinging wide if I don't have to. So I'm going to lower that approach speed down to 160 right now and go flaps 3. As soon as we make the turn inbound, I'll probably take manual control. Minimum descent altitude is 1650. So I'm going to put that into hundreds, have it ready to go. Looks like we're a little bit bumpy out here. We're getting rocked around already. This would be so sketchy because I know there's terrain out here. There's terrain out in front of us. Look at that. Look at this. Look at all this terrain out here. This is not a place you want to be flying around disoriented at night. All right, we're getting ready to make that turn. Also, hopefully, did I do it? Nope. Want to make sure you activate and confirm as well. There we go. There's alt star 2,000 feet for the turn. Here we go. Here's our 10 DME on our RNAV. It looks like it's matching up with our hard-tuned DME that we put in the RadNav page. All right, there's 10. There's the turn. I'm going to set 1600. Start down. Let's go ahead and drop the gear. You hear that thrust coming up? There's our MDA. Getting ready to hand fly it now. I'll let it come out of the turn, get an extra sip of bourbon before we go. It's a Sledge. I'm gonna neck this red wine now. This is a white shirt. Oh boy, I hope your red wine is safely stowed for this landing. 5,300 foot strip at night, circled on the bourbon. What could go wrong? As we come around the turn here, we should see the airport now. It's going to be slightly off-center. This is not a complete straight-in approach, which looks pretty good. Technically, in real life, you can go RNAV to FQ8 or FQ0, excuse me, and then you have to manually hand fly. You can't keep the autopilot on here on this RNAV because you have no guidance. So I'm going to just go ahead and disconnect early. I've got the airport in sight. I'm no longer going to use the flight directors, so make sure you shut your flight directors off. Track FPA mode. Missed altitude 3,000 feet is set. Now I'm going to position the aircraft to line up with the runway. So I can see the runway. We're good to maneuver. I'm also going to configure to approach speed. So manage speed. Flaps full. Spoilers armed. Stand by on that landing checklist. Maintain 1,600 feet here until I'm nice and straight with the runway. Landing checklist. Cabin crew advised, auto thrust is in speed mode. ECAM memo, landing all green. Landing checklist complete. Aegean 588, Skiathos, runway 1. Isn't it runway 1? Yep. Runway 1, clear to land. Godspeed, sir. Alright, now, this vertical deviation donut that's coming in here, because I have an extended center line from my approach, that's going to kind of guide you to a 3-degree descent. So I don't have any pappies in my scenery. I don't know if it's a scenery mesh issues or what. So, but it definitely makes this more challenging to have no visual guidance. So I have to kind of use the Airbus and a little bit of mental math to help me get down and not be high and not be low. You don't want to be low either. You clip the road. Alright, so I'm kind of following my vertical deviation donut there. You don't want to rely on it though. Just use it as reference. What I'm going to rely on is my flight path marker, this green airplane right here. A 3-degree descent is if I put that flight path marker right on the horizon line. So you see how that the tail of the flight path marker is right below the horizon? That's about a 3-degree descent. Man, we got a 16-knot wind ripping us from the right. This ought to be fun. So I'm kind of using that to guide me down. I don't have any pappies to look at, which in real life they do, so technically this is harder than a real-life approach. And it's windy. 1,000 stable, we're clear to land. Lights are on. Dude, we're getting rocked right now. This is definitely one of the more sketchy things I've done. I'm gonna need a double on ice when I get here. Whiskas, you just came up with a great idea. It would be interesting to drink whatever is popular at your destination for stream. Dude, that actually is a really good idea. I'm gonna have to look into that. The problem would be getting it. I don't know if I'd be able to find it local. Dimitri, what's your favorite Greek beverage of choice? Alright. No more looking at chat. Let's put her down. So I'm still looking good there. Coming up on half mile, 300 feet. That checks. That looks good. Probably a titch high. Keep working it down. Watch that descent rate. Spoilers. Reverse green. Decelling. Manual brakes. Whew, buddy. 70 knots. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Skiathos at night. Alright, we don't have to go all the way and turn around. I've turned the airplane around in real life 100 times. I don't have to go all the way there. Let's go ahead and stow the buckets, clean up the bird, flip it around. This is where everybody needs to be seated with their seatbelt securely fastened. Get whipped around there in that turn if you're not careful on the tiller. But Airbus can turn real tight. Whew, let's get that APU fired up, guys. Start the chrono for the cooldown, because that was a full reverse. Yes, sir. We'll leave our lights on to maintain maximum visibility in case somebody else is in the pattern. Alright, here we go. We'll make this next turn here. Looks good. We'll go ahead and kill the lights. Leave the taxi light on. Wing light come off. Strobes can come off. Looks like we're just going to go straight in here. It's so cool with the flashing red light. The beacon. I don't know why there's a Delta CRJ there. Whew. Brakes are set. We'll simulate 5-minute cooldown or 3-minute cooldown. Oh, hold up. Did the APU actually transfer over? APU is available. Okay, so we started it with the gens. I was going to say we don't have APU, but we do have APU available. Kill engine 1. Brakes hot ECAM. That's pretty normal for this runway. 330 on the temps. That's still not bad. All right, let's take a look at that replay before we open anything up. Whew, buddy, that was fun. I don't know how much we're going to be able to see. Put you guys in the replay mode as well. Tesla guy says, V1, don't we have a dodgy battery, meaning we can't start the APU? Tesla guy, that's correct. We can't do a battery start, but because the engines were running, because I started it with both gens running, we're able to start it. So now, now that the engines are off, as soon as that APU comes off, it's not going to be able to be started. So unless there's some maintenance here on the island, we're going to have to use a ground power. We're going to have to do our next flight with APU in op. Not much to see, but just listening to those. Look at the wind rocking us around. Those spoilers coming up there, more than 10-degree deflection. I love it. Watch this view here. Yeah, Tesla, I think we'll have to simulate our next flight without the APU because unless somebody flies in a new battery for us. The Sledge has got to go. Great landing cap. Next time. Salute. Thank you, Sledge. Have a good one, bud. Taylor says Delta CRJ ULR. Ultra long range. That's funny. Whiska says, we're diverting to Bordeaux in a minute. I ran out of wine. Oh, man. I can't wait to show you guys the scenery in the daytime. In the daytime, it's beautiful too. This is another. I believe this is X Aviation's Skiathos. They probably have a brake kiosk at this airport. IFR Sim, absolutely, man. Shout out to you, dude. Sound pack was fantastic. Oh, right on the marker, son. Listen to this reverse. Gosh, I love it. Yeah, we were into those reversers deep. We were into those reversers all the way to 70 knots. All right, let's look at the runway here. Now, this is going to be cool. Coming through the darkness here as the terminal lights will light up the airplane. Oh. Yeah. There was no time to flare and hold it there. That's just get her down. Wow. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little multi-leg stream here in Greece. I had a heck of a lot of fun today. I'm sorry I wasn't super into the chat for you guys there. I was trying to get a lot done for the video. for the stream back and forth from those airports. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Look at this one more time here, coming through the clouds. Dimitri, shout out to you, man. Helping me get the routes all planned up. IFR Sim for your sound pack. I love it. Definitely check it out, guys. Give IFR Sim some love. He's the one that got the sound pack modded. Mod sponsors, donors. Whew. Thank you so much for all you do here at the channel. Working hard, 300 viewers. Guys, hit that like button on the way out. Appreciate it. I gotta go refill my drink, take the rest of the night off. Y'all stay safe, stay healthy. We won. See ya.